If you are not ready to work, hustle, kill, then please leave.
Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Savage Excellence Podcast. This is going to be just a raw talk between me and Will. My name is Tristan. I'm the host on this podcast, and then Will is my co-host here. We're just going to hop right into it. So, Will, how you been, man?
Good. It's been like 2 weeks since we've done an episode, so...
Yeah, it's been a minute. We're both pretty busy, preoccupied with shit.
Yeah. It's honestly been like a mixture of up and downs the last couple weeks. Mostly highs, I would say. But there was definitely like a period of a couple lows where it's like, dang, all right. And I'm sure you probably had a balance of that as well. I think
Yeah,
a lot of it was just like
that's an understatement.
figuring out like how to deal with like problems faster.
Yeah.
Right? It was just like, all right, it was like problem after problem after problem, but I think it made me better at solving some of those problems. And it was just like to be able to have like just a cool head and just look at it like, all right, it's just another learning moment.
So what are some of the struggles and highs that you've encountered in this last week?
Well, I'll be honest, like, you know, income's been pretty low. So a lot of it just comes down to, like I had like a random $200 or $300 charge that didn't really know where that came from. I think I actually pressed a subscription that
Oh, fuck, dude.
I think it was a J3U thing. It was like the VIP live class.
Oh, you just got to email him, bro.
And so that's what I had to do.
Okay.
And I was like, shoot, this actually charged. And they weren't able to refund it, but they just took cancel the subscription off.
Yeah.
And
They've got a really dope, like, no questions asked policy.
Yeah.
If you ask them. Because I had something similar where it was like you have to pay, I think, like $100 a month for their, like, live classes or something.
yeah.
And that's not something I thought I opted in for. And I just sent them an email, and they just sent me back one, like, done. And I was like, thank you. You know what I mean?
Wait, they actually refunded it?
Yeah, they just canceled it and refunded it.
Oh, maybe I should see if they can refund it. Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't even use them once because I was so busy. I should do that.
Yeah.
Well, learn experience now. Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely, dude. Well, there's another hype for you.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Always positive.
So hopefully we can figure that out. And then trying to think what else.
You said you had some highs. What were those?
I think honestly one of them was actually today. My client sent me training footage, which was dope, and it just like it's cool to see because this guy that I've had like has been committed since day one.
That's dope.
And it was like it's just been like, all right. I mean, obviously I don't want to give him too much praise like yet, but like I know that he's really committed at this shit, and so I think that's super dope to see as a coach where it's like, all right, he's checking in, he's asking good questions, he's doing his training footage on top of that, and he's always doing above and beyond. You know what I mean? He's not just hitting the 10,000 steps, he's hitting 11, 12,000 steps.
Nice.
You know, he's going for runs each day because he wants to also be able to run a 5K. And it's just like, dude, like that's fucking dope, dude.
Yeah, just crushing it.
So
I love athletes like that.
but yeah, it's kind of my highs. What about you?
Well, mainly just trying to pull my self out of that shitty mindset I kind of was in with the heart complications I've been having.
Mm-hmm.
It's been getting better though. Ever since I've kind of cut out like THC, caffeine, lowered PEDs down to just like a TRT level, I've been noticing a bit less just like anxiety, which is really nice. Do like for a couple of weeks there, just like because the news was like so fresh, I think too.
Yeah.
If you guys weren't on the last one, I've been going through some hard shit where I got like EKG done. So that was at risk for a heart attack. I'm too young to withstand one of those. I've been having heart palpitations, stuff like that just runs in the family with heart conditions. But within the last few weeks, it's become a lot more symptomatic of like shortness of breath, lightheadedness with activity, dizziness, other shit. But that's pretty hard news on, you know, a 24-year-old that's really like obsessed and committed to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much just told like, hey, you can't train, you can't really do anything to exert yourself for a little bit. And by the way, you might die, but we don't know what's causing it. And you have to wait a month
gosh.
before we find out.
Yeah, it's fucked.
I'm like, nice.
Yeah.
And as someone that already kind of deals with like anxiety and shit, that's something I was like, fuck, if I didn't have that before, I definitely do now.
Yeah, exactly.
So last couple of weeks have just been like a constant state of just, fuck, dude. It's been brutal, to be honest. But I've been kind of pulling myself out of that mindset, kind of looking at things that I can control, not focusing on things I can't control, and making it a non-negotiable that I am going to get through this, and I have people to support me, good people around me. So things I've been kind of doing to help pull myself out of that is just rewrite out my goals, my why, like get back established in my routine, like start just doing anything I can for activity. And I've been noticing, like, since I've cut back on those things, I've been able to get back into the gym. Like, I can get some workouts in, but I kind of notice the harder I go in a workout, the more I kind of pay for it the next couple of days. So it's kind of just trying to find this balance of getting enough exertion to keep muscle around, but not so much to where I'm fucked for the next couple of days.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But definitely doing better mentally. We're getting better. Just keeping God in the forefront has been really crucial.
Yeah. I think that's honestly a big one for me too, as well, is just like understanding like this is a challenge from God because he's challenging me to be a better man.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, something I've been praying for is just more mental fortitude and zero vices, and this is definitely something that's helping me go through that. And I was reading a book I've been reading on achieving the impossible and basically achieving peak performance. And it kind of touched, there's like this certain line in there that like really stood out to me, and I was saying, to become a peak performer, you need to learn to become your best and your worst. And I think this is like something he's giving me to challenge me to really become my best and my worst.
Yeah.
So that's
so explain that for someone who doesn't really understand that. Like, what would that look like?
Getting the best I have ever been at other things. Like right now, I'm obviously not going to be able to be like the strongest I've ever been or training the most intense I've ever been. But I have been posing a lot more.
Yeah.
Because that's something I can do, and I want to get my posing to a whole nother level during this period. Especially with taking on like more posing athletes. I kind of want to expand my coaching business into more of like the posing realm too. Yeah. And like really focus on like making like routines, mandatories, things like that. Because I feel like something in bodybuilding that lacks greatly is posing. Yeah. Like across all levels, even the pros. Yeah. Like a lot of the pros honestly suck at posing. Yeah. Like when you look at it. Yep. Like they'll have incredible physiques, but like you'll just look at it and be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like for posing, like even I know not to do that.
Exactly, yeah.
And obviously there's some pros that are like incredible, like Terrence Ruffin and stuff like that I really look up to, Logan Franklin. But especially like at the amateur level, like bro, everyone can work on their posing. Yeah. Yep. And then like business, I can focus on making my coaching program within itself the best it's ever been. I can focus on my education. All those other things that doesn't really correlate directly to like how hard I'm training exactly. I can focus on all those other things.
Yeah. That's dope. I think one way I've kind of been applying that too as well is like I got brought back down to tier T, and we just got to fix some stuff, you know, like not even looking at blood work. We can tell like obviously like, you know, my fasted blood glucose is pretty high. I don't know if I told you, but it was at like 104 the other day.
Oh, really?
So I'm just like, all right, let's make sure I'm doing the right things here.
Is it doing that? Is it coming up at that reading like consistently?
It was 104, and then it was like 98 the other day. But Nick so we started implementing like berberine, doing more cardio, getting consistent on that. I had a big kind of just realization. I was just like, dude, I'm not doing as much as I probably should be doing here. Like I've kind of been slacking a little bit on cardio. I told Nick that. I'm like, I just need to be held more accountable with that. So he's just like, dude, well, run it back until you hit consistent cardio with 2 weeks. I was like, all right, that's a goal for me. So that's
run it back. What do you mean?
Just like I'm not making changes until you do your shit.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, like that's just like for me, it's just like an accountability thing. Like I need to be better at that. And so that's that's like also the mindset going into this little like health phase is like I want to focus this on maintaining and gaining strength even though like obviously like you're put in a position where maybe someone who relies on drugs, you know, wouldn't be
Oh yeah.
as great, right? Like
You can still improve.
exactly. That's
sure.
that's another thing. So like that's kind of what I'm trying to do is like, all right, I'm maybe not at my best right now, but I'm gonna perform like I'm at my best.
Yeah.
So
Nothing changes.
exactly.
Nothing really changes.
Except honestly, I would say I'm trying to have even a better mindset going into it.
Yeah.
You know, just being able to, and then like focus on other things too. Like obviously, like I want to be able to, you know, utilize this time to focus a little bit more on my health, right? Like I've done some damage to my body, I can tell. So I want to start getting a little bit more into just taking better care of like my skin, my hair, just that kind of stuff as well.
Is that the main damage like you've noticed is in the skin and hair or outside things?
I mean, that's probably the biggest thing is like the glucose skin hair is kind of what I've noticed, but also just feeling better. So maybe, and also like probably brain damage as well. Like we talk about that and joke about it all the time, but it is a true thing. Like
Yeah.
that's what, and that's, I don't want to get too far into steroid talk today, but you know, it is a thing is if you are doing steroids at a younger age, you know, your brain isn't fully developed until 25. So I'm not going to be a dumbass and just not take care of it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to start getting more into researching nootropics and better ways to just enhance my brain. And so that, and some of that comes down to just doing better things and focusing more on education. So that's kind of what I'm doing with J3U. I'm getting back in the habit of reading consistently.
Same. Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of that stuff, man.
Yeah, I think it comes down to like a lot of people could benefit from things like that, like reading and stuff like that. But I feel like at times I've definitely felt this where it's like I have like so many things I want to do in a day that it's like sometimes just none of it gets done because I just have so many things. And something I've been doing is just kind of like listing out what are like the most important things you want to get done and setting something that's like actually achievable. So something like for reading, I just give myself as a goal, like non-negotiable of 20 minutes a day. If I go over that, cool. Like sometimes I will go over that because I just get like really invested in what I'm reading.
Yeah.
But just having like that 20 minutes of something that's not like, I'm not setting like an hour of reading a day. You know what I mean? Where it's like, fuck, I have to read for a whole hour. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So something that's just like achievable, and it's better to read 20 minutes a day every day than nothing. You know what I mean?
Right. Or then 1 hour once a week because you're not consistent with it. Yeah.
I almost think like 20 minutes is better anyway, because then you can just like focus on that material in 20 minutes, and it's like you're not getting this huge abundance of information in an hour.
Yeah.
And you're not like trying to remember everything you just read in an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And one thing I was going to say when I'm getting back into reading is like I want to be able to absorb the information.
Right.
I feel like in the past, like I've just tried to zoom through books and I miss crucial parts of the book.
Yeah. Something I've been kind of doing, I'm just kind of experimenting with. I wouldn't say like I've done this like a lot. Usually I'm someone that kind of like likes to read a book front to back. But, you know, I've been trying to practice the skill of getting information faster, more effectively. And so if like I'm reading something and I'm like, I'm not a big one for, like if I'm reading a book for knowledge, I'm not really a big person on like the storytelling necessarily in there. Maybe sometimes, but sometimes if I'm just like reading this, I'm just like, yeah, okay. Because I never remember it.
Right.
Like I'll read a story in a book, I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. But then I like forget it the next day. But then if it's like actual knowledge being given to me that I can actually apply to like training or something like that, like I remember that. So like that's the information I'm trying to seek out. So if I'm reading something, I'm like, all right, this is kind of something I don't really care about. I'll kind of skim through it and I'm like, all right, now he's kind of getting more into like practical knowledge. Then I'll kind of start reading that.
Okay. So would you say that you benefit more from just like seeing the numbers, seeing the actual like big pieces of knowledge rather than like maybe analogies used for that knowledge?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I think I'm the opposite actually.
You like the stories?
Well, it's like for example, there's this one writer that I read a lot of his books, Robert Greene.
Robert Greene.
And I like how he story tells like, and it's based on history too. So like some of the stories, I'll be able to remember the concept because of those stories.
Yeah, that's kind of different. Like the story, like history stories are cool. I like.
Yeah. Okay.
Those.
I got you what you're saying.
But if it's like some like, I don't know, like personal experience story or something like that, I'm just like,
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, like I'm reading this book, right? I was kind of just saying like on peak performance and stuff, and I actually really dude, you got to read that book. It's super good. I'm going to buy it for all of my athletes. It's so good.
What is it?
It's called The Art of Impossible, book on achieving peak performance.
Oh, okay.
It's sick. Because it talks about all different kinds of things of like achieving flow, like the actual breakdown of how to achieve flow, like within your hormones and how you can like achieve that through actual activities, different kind of like meditation techniques and all this kind of stuff that literally like a lot of the stuff I'm reading in there, I'm like, wow, this applies to me. Wow, this applies to me. You know what I mean? Which is dope. I took a little piece of information from there. Going through this period with my heart and shit, I've been trying to make meditation a pretty big non-negotiable. I'm trying to like be disciplined with 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, and that's been really helping. And it talks about different kinds of meditation. Actually, was talking to Ethan about this, who I helped with his posing routine yesterday, about this kind of meditation. But he pretty much says there's 2 different kinds of meditation you can do. There's closed-minded meditation, and then there's open-minded meditation. And you can use different kinds of those meditations for different scenarios. Or say, for example, like closed-minded meditation. That's something where you're focusing on one thing for an extended period of time. So for me, I really like closed-minded meditation before like work or training, because I'm trying to focus on that one thing.
Yeah.
So something I do is I like to light a candle. I'll turn off all my lights and I just focus on that one candle flame. That's it. And I just try to hold that focus.
Just on the flame?
Yep. It's just literally just practicing focus. Kind of like mindfulness.
Really?
Yeah. Which is really sick.
That sounds crazy, yeah.
And I actually used to do that. I've been doing that for a couple of years, but I didn't really know like what it was called or like.
So are you doing that like before you go do something? Or like how do you apply that?
Yeah. I kind of just do it to start my day. That's kind of how I like it. Or ending the night, either way. That's actually probably one of my more favorite forms of meditation is just, I kind of go in like in a sequence. This is kind of how I've been meditating personally lately is morning or night, I'll turn off all my lights and I'll sit down like either with my legs out, crisscross, whatever, and I'll light a candle flame in front of me. I'll hold it and I just stare at the flame, hold the focus, and just practice that mindfulness. And you will to get distracted at first. That's normal. That's the kind of the point. Is like you're practicing mindfulness. Like, oh shit, I got distracted. Focus.
Yep.
I got distracted. Focus.
Yeah.
You practice that over and over and over until you don't get distracted. But kind of my process to get to that point is I'll sit there and I just open my mind and let all my thoughts race. Just anything that comes in there. But I'm not like overthinking them. I'm just, hey, there's a thought. Cool. Hey, there's a thought. Cool. Kind of like a conveyor belt. Like just letting it run. And I just let it run until it's like out.
Yeah.
And then it's just blank.
Yep.
That's when I really hit my Zen meditative mode. And I just hold that.
Yeah. That sounds like it's that's some crazy. I need to start doing that.
But wait, there's more.
All right.
So once I've kind of held that, I'll kind of like wrap it up then with like prayer. Because then I'm like in that most spiritual state to be connected with God. And then that's where I end it. And I find it to be very powerful.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, yeah, it definitely sounds like it could benefit you a lot more because it's just like, especially like probably before going to sleep too, because your mind's racing.
Yeah.
If you have a racing mind,
dude.
I noticed like I can't like I've been starting to track my sleep more with my Apple Watch, just to see like all right how good of sleep am I actually getting. I don't know how accurate it is, but I definitely could tell like I can do a better job, and I think that's the nights I get like where it's like okay maybe I only slept like 6.5 hours of sleep, like actual sleep, like that was because it took me like an hour and a half to fall asleep because my mind was racing. Whereas like if you probably do something like that, got a practice like that.
I fall asleep like in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So maybe I should start doing that.
Something cool too, like the book, I haven't really touched on the open part of meditation. So that's like closed meditation, when you're focusing on one thing. He touched on in the book too, where it's very good for like analytical thinkers or convergent thinkers. And that's where I feel like I benefit doing it before I train. Is it doesn't even have to be a candle flame. It could be like stare at a fucking dot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just hold that. So I'll practice that before the gym or even in the gym like I'll just like kind of hold a focus, just pick one thing in the gym and just stare at it, and just practice locking the fuck in right there. So it's kind of like the convergent part, more analytical thinker, helping you focus on one thing. But then the open part, you said, is when you kind of focus more on your senses, which is kind of interesting. So I was talking about this with Ethan. Something you can do is close your eyes and then all of your other senses heighten. And you can focus on like the rain or the wind or maybe music that you're going to pose to. And then so you open up your senses, and then that kind of meditation opens up of your divergent thinking, your more creative side of your brain. So I like that kind of meditation before I pose, when I'm trying to create something.
That's cool.
Or art, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought I'm going to be using that a lot more to kind of tap into the different sides of my brain.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
That's cool how you can kind of like, it's just cool if there's practices out there to like, that people have developed where it's like, you can literally like activate different parts of your brain. And because it's like nowadays it's like everyone is so distracted, bro. Actually, that was one thing I was gonna kind of touch on as well. It's just like, you know, earlier this week I was just noticing like, you know, the week before I've just been absolutely addicted and glued to my phone.
Yeah.
And I noticed like I'm way less productive.
Yeah.
And it's just because like my brain's not thinking the more creative thoughts, because I'm just focused on always constantly pouring in information that I'm sucking out of this device in my hand, instead of actually just sitting there alone with my thoughts, or being able to practice some sort of meditation and absorb some of those thoughts that I have, and like actually focus on the right thoughts, right? Positivity versus negativity thoughts. And I think that all those things like together would benefit me as a whole, rather than just like screen sucking, right?
Yeah.
I see so many people that are just like, that do that. Everyone does it, right? Like,
yeah, to a degree, for sure.
So that's something I kind of had a realization like this week where it was just like, yeah, I probably need to do a better job at that.
Well, something that really hit me is, you know, Noel, like the bodybuilder, that posts, he had this post, like, I was just kind of doom scrolling and came across this post, and he was like, what was the last thing that you remembered scrolling through Instagram yesterday? And I'm like, not a damn thing.
Yeah.
That was pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm literally looking at this, and I'm not going to remember a single fucking piece of it tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is such a waste of time. You know what I mean? And it's like, you'll be open up your phone to check something, and you don't even know like what you're opening it to check.
What do I even open my phone up for?
Dude, I'll literally be like walking with my phone like not on me, and I'll be like grabbing my pocket. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Your phone's not even on you, dog. Like, you're just so classic conditioned to checking your phone.
Yeah, dude.
It's not even on you. I'm like, that shit pisses me off.
And low-key is kind of like concerning, dude.
It is concerning. It's the most addictive drug on the planet, for sure.
Yeah. I think it's like just continuously getting worse, like as people's attention spans just get smaller and smaller.
And social media is just getting like worse and worse. Dude, I honestly have been I've been getting like so just fed up with some of the like content that's being put out there of like using hooks to kind of like draw you in and just like, I don't know, just like shitty ways I just don't like. You know what I mean? It's just like,
it's ingenuine.
It's like ingenuine, but it's just like, just stupid shit. And it's just, oh man, I just can't stand it. I've been kind of getting away from like the super in your face. Well, I've never really been like super in your face, but just the hooks that are like, I don't know. They're just kind of like cringe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like how you wouldn't actually talk like this in real life.
Right. I can't like think of an example off the top of my head for a second, but it's just like everyone scrolls through social media, and you'll know what I mean. Like you scroll and it's just
here are 3 ways to grow your biceps.
Yes, exactly. These are my 3 tips, and it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I've seen like enough of these.
Well, that's funny because it's like it's all those coaching gurus and all those people who are just.
Well, it's like the business program I'm in. Like that's kind of like what they teach you. Like if you want to go viral, you got to have this hook. You know what I mean? And it's just like, man, fuck a hook. But it's like, at least I don't want to have the hook in like the way they're trying to like traditionally preach it. Like I'll do it something more like, just be straight up. You know what I mean? Just like, hey, if you want to grow your triceps, try this tricep exercise. Or not basically like, You know
Not
what I mean?
so over the top that it's just like, you would never talk like this.
Watch this dude get fucking obliterated by a train, but then it's like some like toy train hitting him, and it's just like,
Yeah,
all right,
exactly.
like,
It's just like, it's dumb because that's what it is though. It's dopamine stimulation.
yeah, it's just stupid.
Dude,
That's what it is.
it's kind of crazy. Because dopamine happens before you actually perform the activity. That's what it is. It's dopamine stimulation. So that's what draws people into the video.
Yeah.
And then you know what happens is that shit happens where it's like not really actually that cool.
Yeah.
And so that's what causes the short attention span. It's the dopamine. I mean, we probably already discovered this, but I kind of was just thinking through this. It's just like, that's where the whole program it works on our brains is like each scroll is like that dopamine hit, but it's the more intensive a hook, the more of a dopamine hit. So it draws you in way more. But then it's like when you have a video that's just kind of dumb, it's like, oh well, I'm just gonna keep scrolling past that, and you wonder why all these kids walk around like they have ADHD.
Yeah, well, that's a big topic right now too. On like kind of like mental health is ADHD, and a lot of people, you know, so many people are so quick to like diagnose themselves with shit, and it's just like
It's funny because that's the whole like topic that they were talking about in church. Remember that?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. People were
Yeah, they like exactly. I feel like a lot of us just are just addicted, you know what I mean, to our phones, and you're just constantly thinking about like other shit, and you're just not present with your life. And like that's me sometimes too. I remember, so like these little mics, the USB Lightning thing, it broke off in my phone some time ago, so I had to order a new one.
Yeah.
And I've been like waiting for it because I haven't been able to make. I've been making content, but not like kind of content I'd want. Like
To make.
it's a big
Yeah,
game
yeah.
changer to have.
Yep.
So it finally came in. I'm like, yes, finally, I got it. And I like was looking for my mics. I like couldn't find my fucking mics, but it had like fallen under my desk, and so I grabbed it. And the little fucking USB Lightning, I like once I grabbed my mics, I'm like, where did it go? Like I just fucking took it out, and I'm like looking all over it, and I'm like, bro, my dumbass threw it in the trash. Like I
Oh
was
my
just like
gosh.
thinking
Yeah.
about some other shit, and just like, oh, something in my hand must be trash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the fuck did that thing go? I'm like, thank God I found it. But I was just like, dude, deep breath, let's focus. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
things like that. Like, it's just getting harder. You just got to really practice like that meditation where it's like, I'm literally practicing just not being stimulated, being focused on something, and practicing like that emotional control. You know what I mean?
I think also practice being aware. That's a big problem our society has, a lack of social awareness. What's going on around you? It's like we're not able to use our senses as good as we used to be able because we're so focused on the senses that we get from our phone. Hearing the cool noises, seeing the cool like the visuals, maybe the taste and smell part not as much, but it's still just like when you put your phone down, you can actually like and just experience life.
Yeah.
You know, like I just feel like, and it's slowly starting to get more and more that way, with things like, you know, virtual reality and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see like how do you see things like 10 years from now? Do you think it's going to get worse,
Oh, for sure.
or do you think it's going to get slowly better?
There's no way in hell it's getting better, for sure. I mean, technology is only going to advance. It's only going to get more addictive. So I think that's why it's going to be like even more important now than ever to be someone that has like emotional control and discipline. Otherwise, you're just going to be like fucking
Stuck with everyone else.
You're just going to be a slave to technology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So many people already are, but you're going to get a robot.
Am I going to get a robot? I don't
I'm
know.
getting a fucking robot.
I think it'd be cool. I don't know what kind of robot you would get, but
Like the Tesla robot.
oh yeah, I feel like it'd be beneficial like to use in your business.
Yeah, dude, I'd make that motherfucker meal prep all day.
If you're a personal chef, and that'd be kind of sick actually. But what if he like fucks up your food though? Like what if he like undercooks your chicken or some shit and you get food poisoning because of it?
Food poisoning.
But it's also powered by AI. Like what if AI tries to start like taking over? And it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna kill Tristan. Like,
Can you please cook for me? Thank you.
oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious. Not really, but like, it's just crazy to think about. Like,
Yeah, I've seen some pretty interesting arguments on AI where it's like, this is a complete fucking 180 topic, but
We've like jumped. This is literally our ADHD. Like, I mean, we don't have actually ADHD because we've never been actually diagnosed, but it's just funny to joke about. But
I was reading, I was watching this video. You know Mike Israetel?
yeah.
He was kind of having this debate on a podcast about AI, and obviously he's like a very intelligent dude. I don't necessarily like agree with everything he says, but he's like
I'm better than Mike Menser.
He has a really strong stance on AI, like pro AI.
Oh, really?
And he thinks it's going to be like the salvation of humanity, which is pretty interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah.
He thinks AI will pretty much get to a point where it takes care of more and more problems. And like if a new issue arises, but then it's going to evolve to take care of that issue, then AI will get significantly, like AI that we have now is going to be significantly smarter in 10 years. Significantly smarter than what it is right now.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
That AI is going to be able to take care of the problems that we have now compared to how many problems AI right now is taking care of. It's like the problems AI right now can't take care of, that future AI will be able to. So basically like fast forward that 100,000 years down the line to a point where basically AI can just take care of everything. And like we just live in paradise. That's a pretty far-fetched view, in my opinion.
I would say it's very, very optimistic.
Yeah, very optimistic.
Almost fantasy-like, but
yeah. I don't see that really happening, just given human nature.
Yeah.
But
well, I think it's also on top of like the whole. I mean, yeah, we could live in paradise, but it's like, at what point are we actually, like, at what point are we actually evolving as humans?
So,
you know what I mean?
He actually did make an argument on that, where it was like, as AI develops and evolves and takes care of more of our problems, it will free up more time for humans to evolve.
Huh.
So like,
how would he argue that?
So say for example, something that's argued a lot is internal trauma that we deal with, right? And how that's something that is shuttled deep down with us and we never really deal with, or etc. Basically, like those kinds of things we'll have more time to focus on. It's kind of like his argument of we'll be able to kind of evolve through the spare time that AI frees up for us. But then it's like, there's a lot of pretty lazy, free people in the world right now that are still just being lazy people, not dealing with anything.
Well, right. I feel like as humans, we need more problems because it keeps us busy.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen like, I mean, through us, right? Like we both need to be pretty busy to be able to like feel like we're actually doing something, and to feel mentally stable. Like as soon as I just am like not really doing anything and kind of being lazy, that's when I notice my habits slip, because I'm not doing anything. I feel like most humans are pretty like that. Like as human nature, I think we need to be doing stuff. I don't think like by just doing nothing, we're going to solve all the humanity's internal issues that we have. Like, I feel like that's a very optimistic viewpoint. You know what I mean?
Well, if you look back like on history, easy times create lazy people or complacent. Hard times create hard-working people. Like World War II, that's when America was like at its strongest. Most bonded. Yeah. Now we've been fortunate enough to have like the most peace, and that's why we've been having like the most laziness, all the shit that's kind of going on in the world right now, because we have easy times. So
you think it's going to get to hard times pretty soon here?
I think it's a natural cycle of nature, yeah. Because I feel like when you look back in history, I think everyone in their lifetime is a part of some kind of war. Yeah. And, yeah.
Or experienced it within their lifetime.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. If it's something like down the future, we'll be like in part of some kind of world war.
Do you think it'll be a world war, or what do you think it'll be?
Honestly, I don't know. I think we're on very thin ice as like a nation with each other as a people. I think we're like on the edge of a civil war, and we're also on the edge of a world war.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to get interesting. Yeah. But it starts with us. Yeah. It starts with us pursuing excellence is going to be really the only true change. And Andy Frisella kind of talks about this in his podcast. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, no.
His movement's kind of like the ultimate rebellion of everyone pursuing personal excellence and not being dependent on the government.
Yeah.
Is where its real change is going to happen.
Yeah.
Which is something I love about being a coach, is I'm being a part of that.
Yeah.
And helping people
That's literally the future vision I have, yeah.
Yeah.
I think by watching that podcast and listening to it, like that kind of changed my perspective of like, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit more, like not just like, because I already had kind of the idea planted in my head, but it was like that really brought to fruition where it's like that idea is kind of constantly spinning in my back of my mind where it's like, I'm doing this because I love coaching, but also because I want to be able to create this like this group of rebellion of people that's like, we don't have to rely on the government. We don't have to rely on people telling us what to do and bossing us around and having us be dependent on that. You know what I mean? Because I think that's truly going to be able to save potentially the U.S. or society, you know, as we know it, from dealing with these issues or having the worst happen. You know what I mean?
I like to look at Texas as a state. Like, overall, Texas, bro, there's a bunch of like independent, like they all carry arms.
Yeah.
They all take care of each other, like in a way. They're all very patriotic and they all love their country. Like a lot of them are just hardworking motherfuckers. Fitness is a very huge in Texas.
Yeah.
And you just see like better morals from the people there, etc. I feel like Texas is our most patriotic state.
Yeah.
In my opinion. If I were to move to any state, it'd probably be Texas, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you look at the people there, like, they don't rely on the government. They don't rely on other people. What was it? They established some kind of law where like, they were the first state to not allow something with immigration. I couldn't remember, but it was like a really big step.
Yeah.
And, like no other state really did it.
Damn.
But Texas doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just fuck with Texas, man. Like if every state was like Texas, bro, like the U.S. would be so untouchable. I swear.
Yeah.
But
this podcast is gonna totally get taken down by fucking YouTube, bro.
Who gives a shit?
Honestly, though, we need to spread this message.
Yeah,
though, because
this is the shit that needs to be heard.
Yeah, because I think it's been silenced for too long, and might as well try. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's anything else you want to touch on. I think that's pretty much good for me. But
yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, honestly, I'm excited next week to touch on that mental health.
Yeah, we're going to be touching on men's mental health. We'll have my brother on the podcast, who's very well educated on the subject, and we'll kind of talk to him about kind of like overall men's mental health, but also kind of want to like relate it within kind of like bodybuilders, fitness people, and specifically like what that kind of population deals with. So,
right, yeah.
That's going to be a sick episode. It's going to be our first guest in the podcast.
Yeah,
so
I'm excited,
yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.